So let's talk about AI. It feels like every single day there's a new headline, a new update, or a new model that promises to change everything. And honestly, it's a lot to keep up with. If you blinked at any point in the last 6 months, you probably missed something major. The leaps we've seen since the start of 2024 are genuinely staggering, moving AI from a cool party trick to something deeply integrated into the tools we use every day. This isn't just about chatbots getting slightly better at answering questions, it's a fundamental shift in how we interact with technology. This year has been defined by a relentless, almost breakneck speed of innovation from all the major players. Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, they're all in a race and the finish line keeps moving. We've moved beyond simple text generation into a world where AI can see, hear, speak in ways that feel remarkably human. It's one thing to read about these advancements, but it's another to see them in action, changing everything from how you create a presentation to how a business analyzes its data. Over the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to walk through the biggest moments in AI from the first half of 2024. The year kicked off with Google making some serious noise. They had announced their Gemini model late in 2023, but January 2024 was when we really started to see it flex. The big deal with Gemini wasn't just that it was another large language model, it was built from the ground up to be multimodal. This buzzword just means the AI can understand and process different types of information. Text, images, audio, video, all at once, natively. Unlike older models that had separate parts bolted on for images or sound, Gemini was designed to think in multiple formats from its core. So, what does that actually look like in practice? Imagine pointing your phone's camera at a plate of ingredients: flour, eggs, sugar, butter. Gemini Pro could look at all of them together and tell you what you have, suggest a recipe for cookies, provide the step-by-step instructions, and even answer follow-up questions about baking times. It's this contextual understanding across different inputs that made it a significant step up. This wasn't just a theoretical upgrade, it had immediate implications. Tools like Google Lens became smarter, and the Bard chatbot, soon rebranded to Gemini, became far more capable. Just when we were getting our heads around multimodal AI, OpenAI decided to drop a bombshell in February. They unveiled Sora, a text-to-video model that, to put it simply, blew everyone away. We had seen text-to-video experiments before, short, janky, a bit nonsensical. Sora was different, stunningly realistic, coherent, up to a minute long. You could type in a prompt like "a stylish woman walking down a Tokyo street filled with glowing neon signs," and Sora would generate a video that looked like it was shot by a professional cinematographer. If you asked for a video of puppies playing in the snow would crunch and fly up realistically as they pounced. This showed that the AI wasn't just creating a moving picture, it was simulating a world with consistent objects and physics. Why does this matter to you? Well, for creators it's a game changer. Suddenly, the ability to create high-quality B-roll, animated storyboards, entire short films is accessible without a massive budget or a film crew. But even for the rest of us, it points to a future where visual communication is transformed. Imagine being able to generate a custom video to explain a complex idea for a work presentation, or creating a personalized birthday video message. While Sora wasn't immediately released to the public, its announcement sent ripples through the entire industry, setting a new, incredibly high bar for what was possible. After Google and OpenAI dominated the conversation for the first 2 months of the year, March brought a new contender to the forefront: Anthropic. They launched their new family of models, Claude 3, and it immediately made waves. The family included 3 sizes: Haiku, Sonnet, Opus. Opus did something remarkable right out of the gate. It outperformed competitors, GPT-4, Gemini Ultra, especially on graduate-level reasoning and knowledge. What set Claude 3 apart wasn't just raw intelligence but a more refined, common-sense approach. Users reported fewer lazy, "as a large language model I cannot," refusals, and it handled nuance and context better, especially in long, complex conversations. One famous example was the needle in a haystack test. Researchers hit a single random sentence inside a massive wall of text. Opus found and recalled that sentence with near-perfect accuracy, showcasing incredible recall over huge amounts of information. This improved performance has huge real-world benefits. For businesses, feed the AI an entire annual report or a complex legal contract, and ask specific, nuanced questions with confidence it will find the correct detail. For developers, faster, cheaper models like Haiku, Sonnet made it possible to build smart, responsive apps without breaking the bank. But perhaps the most interesting thing about Claude 3 was its focus on safety and constitutional AI. They designed the model to be helpful, harmless, honest. That design meant better recognition and refusal of harmful prompts, while still being more helpful with legitimate requests. The arrival of Claude 3 proved the AI race wasn't just a two-horse show. It introduced a powerful third player and made it clear the battlegrounds would be performance, context length, safety, and those would shape the fight for AI supremacy. Narrator VO. While, a lot of the AI buzz is about chatbots and image generators that we all get to play with, April really brought a shift in focus to how AI is actually being used by some of the world's biggest organizations. Narrator VO. And this is where a company like Palantir Technologies steps in. They've been handling big data for years, partnering with governments and huge corporations. Narrator VO. But in 2024, their artificial intelligence platform, or AIP, started to reveal seriously practical and powerful uses. They showed how AI can be woven into the complicated, messy workflows that keep a business running. Narrator VO. Sure, a chatbot is fun, but how does a factory actually use AI to manage its supply chain? In April, Palantir put the spotlight on AIP for exactly that. Narrator VO. A company could hook up its sales data, inventory, shipping delays, weather patterns, all into one system. Then an AI-powered operator could ask in plain English, which of our product shipments are at risk of being late, and what's the best way to reroute them? Narrator VO. The AI wouldn't just spit out an answer, it would simulate different choices and suggest the best plan. This is a huge leap from the AI we saw last year. It's not just about creating text, it's about making decisions that matter. Narrator VO. Palantir's idea: use AI as a co-pilot for human operators, pulling together all sorts of data, from spreadsheets to sensor readings, into one digital twin of the business, what they call an ontology. That way the AI can reason over the whole operation. Narrator VO. Example: an energy company watches its power grid, predicts where outages might hit, and sends repair crews before anyone even notices a problem. Narrator VO. Why does this matter? It shows the mature, less flashy side of the AI revolution, the plumbing that powers the next generation of businesses. Narrator VO. So while we're having fun making images with Midjourney, companies like Palantir use similar tech to speed medical research by digging into clinical trial data, or help humanitarian groups get aid to disaster zones. April made it clear: the AI race is about who can use intelligence to tackle real, high-stakes problems out in the world. May was OpenAI's turn to reclaim the spotlight. They did it in a big way with the announcement of GPT-4o. The O stands for Omni: text, audio, vision. Unlike Google's Gemini, which was built multimodal from the start, GPT-4o was an evolution, seamless, and most importantly, incredibly fast. The live demo was what really captured everyone's imagination. It showed a user having a real-time, fluid conversation with the AI on their phone. There were no awkward pauses or processing delays. Honestly, it was like talking to a person. The difference was in the latency. Previous voice assistants would take your speech, send it to a transcription model, send the text to the language model, get a text response back, and then send that to a text-to-speech model. This multi-step process created a noticeable lag. GPT-4o, however, processes voice tone, background noises, video input, and the words themselves, all through a single unified network. That allowed it to respond at human-like speeds, and even to be interrupted and pick right back up. It could also detect emotion in the user's voice, and respond with different vocal tones of its own. The live demos were nothing short of mind-bending. In one demo, the AI acted as a real-time translator between two people speaking different languages. In another, it looked through a phone's camera at a math problem and guided a student with encouraging hints. It could even tell bedtime stories, changing its voice to be more dramatic or soothing on command. This wasn't just a better Siri or Google Assistant. Honestly, it felt like a scene from the movie Her Coming to Life. This update redefines what we should expect from a digital assistant. The focus shifted from just answering queries to being a true conversational partner. Imagine an AI that can join a conference call, listen to the discussion, and prepare a summary in real time. As these AI models became exponentially more powerful, the conversation in June shifted toward a crucial and perhaps overdue topic: safety, ethics, responsibility. With models that can generate convincing video, write flawless code, and hold human-like conversations, the potential for misuse becomes a serious concern. In response, we saw major commitments from the leading AI labs, new players entering the field with a strong focus on governance. This wasn't about nerfing the models but about building guardrails to ensure they are developed and deployed responsibly. One of the key developments was the rise of organizations like the Frontier Model Forum, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, Microsoft, which expanded efforts to create shared safety standards. They began publishing more detailed frameworks for red teaming models, intentionally trying to break them to find flaws before they are released. Anthropic continued to be a leader, publishing research on its constitutional AI approach training models to align with a set of principles like a constitution to guide behavior and prevent harmful outputs. Another significant initiative was the push for content provenance and digital watermarking. The idea is simple: any content generated by an AI, whether it's an image, a video, or an audio clip, should have an invisible, cryptographically secure watermark embedded in it. This would make it possible to verify whether a piece of media is authentic or AI-generated, a critical tool in the fight against misinformation and deepfakes. Companies like the BBIA ramped up their work on standards for proving human origin, collaborating with tech companies to create tools that could be widely adopted. This focus on safety is arguably as important as the performance breakthroughs themselves. It represents a maturation of the industry. For the average user, this means that the AI tools you use are becoming more reliable and less prone to generating biased, inaccurate, or dangerous content. Narrator, Vo. After a whirlwind first half of the year filled with flashy announcements and mind-blowing demos, July and August settled into what could be called the quiet integration phase. Narrator, Vo. The big breakthroughs had been announced. Now it was time for them to actually start showing up in the products we use every day. Narrator, VO. This period was less about headline-grabbing new models, and more about the practical, sometimes subtle, ways advancements began to permeate the digital ecosystem. It's the phase where the wow factor turns into genuine utility. Narrator, VO. For example, the conversational abilities of GPT-4o started appearing in more applications beyond the main ChatGPT app. Customer service bots on websites became noticeably more natural and helpful, capable of understanding the nuance in your voice instead of just relying on keywords. Narrator, VO. In-car assistants started getting a major upgrade, moving beyond clunky voice commands to fluid, context-aware conversations. You could ask your car's AI, "It's a bit stuffy in here, and I'm in the mood for some upbeat indie music," and it would adjust the climate control and change the playlist simultaneously. Narrator, VO. Similarly, the multimodal capabilities pioneered by Google's Gemini and matched by others started to become standard. Your email app might now be able to take a photo of a whiteboard from your meeting, and not only transcribe the text, but also summarize the key action items and create calendar events for the deadlines discussed. Narrator, VO. Design software began incorporating Sora-like video generation, allowing a graphic designer to create a quick animated mock-up of a logo directly within their workflow, just by typing a description of the desired animation. Narrator, VO. These aren't new apps, but the apps you already use now supercharged with AI. Narrator, VO. This integration is arguably the most important step in the AI revolution. A powerful model sitting in a lab is just a research project. It only becomes transformative when it's put into the hands of millions through the software they rely on. Narrator, VO. The summer of 2024 was defined by this rollout. It was the period where the promises made in January through May started to materialize on our screens. The focus for users shifted from what's possible to what can I do with it right now? So after a truly transformative 6 months, where do we go from here? If the first half of 2024 was about building powerful models, the next phase will be about two things: embodiment, agency. Embodiment means moving AI out of our phones, out of our computers, and into the physical world. Think robots beyond assembly line tasks that can observe, learn, and perform complex physical actions in unstructured environments powered by vision language models. Agency is the next logical step. Today AIs are mostly co-pilots. They respond to our prompts, they help with tasks we define. The next frontier, AI agents that take on complex, multi-step goals independently. You might tell your agent, "Plan a weekend trip to San Diego for my family next month. Keep the budget under $1,000. The agent would then research flights, compare hotel prices, book reservations, present a full itinerary, and ask for confirmation only at the final step. This requires reasoning and autonomous action far beyond today's systems. Of course, this raises big questions about safety, control, and societal impact. As AI gains agency, aligning goals with human values is the top problem. We'll see focus on governable AI systems that are transparent, interpretable, and can be safely stopped or corrected. The pace of innovation isn't slowing. We're likely on the cusp of GPT-5, the next generation of Gemini, and new models from Anthropic and others. This progress signals a platform shift as significant as the internet or the smartphone. The key: pay attention, understand the tools as they emerge, and think critically about how to integrate this technology into our lives. The future is arriving faster than ever, and it's being written in code.